Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday night stream. I'm out of focus, which is a great start to the stream. Can we get in focus? There we go. Hello, I'm here. I'm in focus finally. Thank you. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday. What's going on with this focus today? Anyway, it's a sign of things to come for this stream. Hello, welcome everyone who's currently in the chat. Everyone who's been chatting, have a nice little chat with each other. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I hope you've had lots of hobby and other things and other nice things to do. So yeah, we're going to be, as the title of the stream says, and as the thumbnail of the stream said as well, we're going to be working on some warp corrupted Wraithbone constructs. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know. That's I've got a title. I've got a rough idea of what we're going to be doing. I've got a box of bits, so we're going to try and build something interesting. So, yeah, I hope everyone's having a good time. We're not going to jump in straight away. We're gonna have a nice little preamble chat. So if you haven't done so already, you can grab yourself a nice cup of tea. We've got Yankee as the moderator today. Oh, thank you very much, Yankee. You'll be very glad to know. Look, I've got a lovely milky tea there. We also have biscuits as well. Look, we have a this is a biscuit, not a boost bar. Classic digestive biscuit. So we've got some biscuits, we've got some tea. Grab yourself a cup of tea, grab yourself a biscuit. Enjoy the stream. We're going to be doing some kitbashing. Yeah, hope everyone's having a wonderful. Milky tea's like pockets under my eyes. Everyone's having a good Sunday. I hope you've been able to get some good work to do, and I hope any Space Marine players are glad to hear that the new Space Marines are going to get put on pre-order next week. Finally able to catch the stream while I'm working on my Space Seraphons, aka Dinobots that you influence. Nice. I'm cleaning up my Nemesis Dread Knight. I've got one of those, and this focus isn't good. It keeps trying to focus on the microphone for some reason. So, what I'm going to do, actually, before we get into anything... What's going on with this? Bear with me, let me change some settings. Better. It's better. I'm going to increase the brightness of my lamp. Sometimes when it's a little bit brighter, it can see my face. Cool. Right. Okay. So, as Michael Bosch has asked in the comments of Chaos, have Eldar been corrupted by Chaos much before? Now, this is a strange one because, as far as I could tell, as far as I could see in my investigations into this topic, there isn't much, but someone left a comment, and I shall read that comment, in the style of, we did this on the Twitch streams, and it seems to be quite enjoyable for everyone. I'm going to be reading this. This is a section from the book Stormcaller, and this was actually brought to my attention by, shout out to Chris Walsh 9258. Thank you very much for leaving us as a comment. This was actually left as a comment on my Newly Corrupted Custodies, and this is a segment from the book, and we probably should get some music to kind of fit against this, shouldn't we? Let me have a listen to what music's currently playing, and then we can increase the music, make it more dramatic. Let's see. This possibly a bit too dramatic. I need something a bit more. Okay, let's increase the music a bit. We're gonna get some nice atmosphere going here. So listen to this. Need something to be horror-y, but not too. There we go. That'll do. Let's listen to this one. Can everyone hear that? Okay. Is that coming through? Okay. I have no idea. I can hear it myself. Right. Okay. I'm going to put it up to 80. Hopefully it's not too loud. Right, okay, so I'm going to read the segment. I'm going to read it like all the lore YouTubes out there. Okay, so I'm going to skim it around. So this is, I think the book is from the point of view of Gnarl Stormcaller. He's on a planet of what appear to be Nurgle mutants. I've not read the book. I've only read the segment. Okay. So something massive was crossing that bridge. Huge cloven feet cracked against the dusty floor, crushing the lesser creatures beneath it. Gangling legs shot up, bulging in Xenos-tainted curves. Long, grasping arms hung down from armored shoulders, almost human in scale, but deformed by eldritch slenderness. A curved blade of dull, black metal swung rhythmically, balanced by a segmented, fan-shaped shield on the opposite right arm. A tapered, faceless head swept back and forth, lolling as if intoxicated. It was fully 15 meters tall, a giant of Xenos tech witchery, towering far above even Null's Terminator bulk. Every heavy stride brought it several meters closer. The mutants around it yelled and goaded, lost in terror and awe, oblivious to those of their number it killed with every crunching footfall. Ingvar narrowed his eyes. He had seen such sorcerous engines before. Imperial Strategos had given them a name fitting their spectral appearance, Wraith Knight. Under normal circumstances, the war machines were shimmering, elusive monsters of combat, sweeping across battlefields, glittering brightly from the energies coiled deep within their ghostly cores. The thing before them was different. It strode clumsily, as if blind or maimed. Its curved shield was corroded and punched with black-edged holes where projectile fire had once stepped through. Muddy green fluid leaked from plated joints and cavities, dribbling across pitted Wraithbone. The pregnant swell of its head unit was fractured and smashed open, revealing intestinal growth spilling out of what had once been the pilot chamber. The Wraith Knight was true Xenos no longer, just a shell over a deeper corruption. The black blood now boiling through its artificial veins had once hummed with esoteric harmonics. The ruinous powers had turned them into a tool of their own, slave to the very powers it had been built to fight. So yeah, that's basically the gist of what we're doing. Is that okay? Yeah, cool. That's the gist. That's the aim. That is what we've been given as a basis. I'm not necessarily going to do it Nurgle, but it kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of where we can go. That there are these Wraith Knights can be corrupted by chaos. It can be taken over. It might not necessarily be corrupted in the sense that it's still alive, in the sense that Wraith Knights are alive, but we can do something. We can do some sort of chaos corruption. So, right, so hopefully, let me tweak the audio a bit. Okay, cool. Right, so we're going to start off with, like I said, I have no idea if how this is going to work. I've got some ideas. I've got some bits to work with. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna try it on the Wraith Guard first. A little bit smaller, a little bit cheaper if I mess them up as well. So yeah. Good evening, Chris. Hello. I literally had a quick look over and saw you, and I think We Paint Minis is also in. Yes, hello, welcome. So I kind of. Yeah, I'm not really sure which way to go with this one. A few people suggested, someone suggested Slash. We've had a suggestion for Nurgle as well, I think, or maybe that's just because the passage is Nurgle based, and also Tzeentch as well. But I'm not sure. I'm kind of wanting to go just more like a generic chaosified, not necessarily anything which is particularly any god related, just generically chaotic. It kind of opens things up. I can go a little bit of everything. So yeah, we'll see. Chaos Undecided. Yeah, pretty much Chaos Undecided. So yeah, I've got some ideas. I don't know if they're going to work, but we're going to try them out. Now, I've got my Wraith Guard here, and what I've also done is I've grabbed myself the bits box that I have of my Sylvaneth parts. Now, my thoughts for this are that these are kind of similar in size, and there are a few pieces like these kind of branching pieces. You could use them to maybe represent where, maybe not necessarily that one, but there are a few in here. Yeah, so these kind of things, like the Kurnoth Hunters, I think that'd be quite good if you blended these kind of things. Let me just focus that. There you go. Blended these kind of shapes into and around the armor, so it has more of a, as if the Wraithbones continue to grow. It's kind of being corrupted. It's not following the smooth, elegant shapes anymore. It's just kind of going off in any direction. So I've got those to hand. We might not use them. We might use them. We'll see. Yeah. The parts from like the Dryads and stuff are really good for this kind of thing. They kind of just look like Wraithbone that's not been, I don't know. They used to have Wraith Singer models, didn't they? That kind of sung into shapes. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's a pretty cool shape as well. Yeah, lots of components like this in Sylvaneth. I've got them. I think I've got a Tree Lord somewhere as well, and they've got loads of parts as well. Anyway. The first thing that I wanted to try out was a technique that I've been kind of playing around with in my head. I've been pre-planning this, and the idea of it is to do something with, or initially was to do something with Commander Farsight. And I wanted to do a Khorne Corrupted Commander Farsight, but I didn't just want to go down the whole regular area where you have, I'll just put skulls and chains and muscles and everything. I wanted to do something different. And the idea I had was to basically break up the armor. If you've played Elden Ring and the second to last, well, the last boss before you face the Elden Beast, you fight. Is it? I can't remember who it is. I can't remember the boss name, but the person you fight has got like almost like a broken arm. I'm sure people in the chat will be able to. No, it's not quite. So you fight the Elden Beast, and just before you fight the Elden Beast, it's the first Radagon. Yeah, I thought it was Radagon. Yeah. So if you look at Radagon, I mean, I can get Firefox up, but so Radagon has this kind of like arm, which is almost, it's not in one piece. It's kind of like segmented into like fractured pieces, but it still like has the shape, and I really like that aesthetic. So I'm going to try and do something here. The problem of doing that is getting the parts. Cutting the parts up and getting to line up, and I think I've got an idea for a technique. It might work, it might not. We shall find out together. So yeah, let's just kind of crack on, I guess. Ethereal arm of fragmented stars. Yeah, kind of like a fragmented arm. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to probably start off with a leg. The arms are maybe a little bit too small to kind of. No, let's do an arm. Let's do an arm. Let's try it. The arms are maybe a little bit more forgiving if I mess them up. So, I shall explain my theory. So I'm going to get the arm. Hopefully keep this in camera shot. There we go, got it. Hey Pete, just letting you know that you're a huge inspiration for me, who's been itching to do some wild kit bashes for a while now. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope the very least of what my videos do is get people kit bashing who maybe wouldn't have kit bashed before. It's really just a good fun thing to try out. I think a lot of people are always put off by it, especially when they see me doing a stupid video of converting some really expensive demon Primarch kit into something else as well. So, but no, you can just do head swaps. Right, okay, so the theory is that if I break this up, if I just took my clippers suit and my saw and broke this up, it would be very hard to get this back into a shape which represented itself, especially for the legs where they kind of have to be more of a direct shape. So the theory is, if I drill a hole through the arm, I don't think I'll be able to get all the way through with a single, yeah, it's kind of slightly bent. Basically, I'll drill a hole through and drill a hole through the other way, and then I'll cut it up, and then I'll rethread it using the hole as the guide, and then that'll kind of make sure that everything sits in the same line. I'll have to twist it around a bit and everything, but it will kind of keep the same rough shape of the arm. That's the theory. It might not work. It might work. We'll go ahead. I've never tried it before. So I'm going to try and drill a hole into this shape. I'm going to try to go as far as I can, really. Because the more that I cover with the hole, trying to make it... Now this might not work for some parts because on the larger kits they're kind of in more segments, aren't they? I'm just making sure I'm not poking through the sides yet. I want to go as far into the arm as I can really with this. Yeah, it's not popping out yet. I think we're okay. I'm actually surprised how far this has managed to go in. This is one of those things which I kind of thought I'd just be... I'm probably to about there now. Okay, it's just starting to come out there. Can you see it? So it's winding up a little bit. Yeah, so we're not going to go any further down there now. Okay, so now we've got a hole that runs down directly. So if I cut these pieces up, I should be able to reassemble them on the wire. Famous last words. So we're going to model, I think, just for parts of it that look maybe giving it kind of a smashed and fractured look. You can probably go a long way just by cutting and scraping as well, but be careful there. It's poking out a little bit there. Okay, if I manage to get past it. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I think. Hopefully that'll do. So I've got to make sure I don't kind of... So I've got two holes. One of them's probably to about there. One of them's to about there. So that's kind of far enough, I think. So we will find out soon. We paint minis. It can be intimidating to start. I assume you're talking about kitbashing, but once you get into the swing and notice how different you can make your models, it is so fun. Yeah, it's kind of addictive in a way. Once you start doing kitbashes, you kind of want to keep on doing more and more kit bashes, and you kind of keep on going with that kind of kit bashing idea. So yeah, it is difficult to not do it. So Marcel Orion, thank you very much appreciated. Thank you very much for your $5 Canadian. Thank you very much. I've just lost my point on the where is it now. Our dreams are the bane of Kitbash's existence. There they are. You gave me ideas too, despite me being a D&D fan. Like one of your Demon Primal videos gave me the idea for a final boss from a campaign idea. That's pretty cool. It can. I mean, kitbashing is a concept and is an idea. Well, it took a while to get through. Look how long that took. Look at that. You get your own little spinning. I think that calls for a biscuit break. Thank you very much. This biscuit's for you, Marcel. Cheers. I should get custard creams for that, shouldn't I? Someone could probably give me diabetes if I have a biscuit every time someone that gives me a super chat or a super sticker or something like that. We have biscuit breaks now. Apparently, this is what we're doing. I can get bored of non-kitbash models. That's a bane of kitbashing there. That is. Honestly, I can't build stuff as per the instructions. It's incredibly difficult. Speaking of which, I actually finished off the Heavy Incestors that we were working on the Twitch streams. So I actually have 2 full units. Technically I have a third, but we'll see. We'll see what comes next weekend. I can't believe that we bullied Pete so hard that he actually bit. I need the blood sugar just to keep going, to be honest. I just need to just need something just to keep me keep me sane between all the bullying that goes on. Right, anyway, so we've got this. As just before, one casual painter will just become a video. It might do this. The VOD will go live. You can watch it back. But I will maybe make this into a video once I've kind of... This is an explanation. It's like an exploration of the concepts to see if it works. It might not work. Right, okay, so I'm going to try and cut this up. I'm going to try and lay it out as we'd expect the arm. Okay, so hopefully we should have a nice... There we go, we've got a hole ring through there now. Perfect. That's what we wanted. So put that there. Pop that there. Let's see how far that hole went. Okay, so the hole didn't join those two up, which was a bit of a disappointment, but still. Okay, and then we've got the hole coming back there. Okay, cool. So it might look like I've just destroyed an arm. I've just clipped it up, and we may have just done that. Let's put these on frame so we can see what's going on. I hate doing stuff like this, honestly, because you don't know if it's going to work until you do it. So yeah, the intention is that when I get a piece of... I should have actually pre-prepped this. This is possibly a bit too thin. That when I get this, it should help everything to line up again. Yeah, I'll need a thicker piece of plastic rod there, but that's the principle. So now what we can do, in theory, is start to trim these about. Kind of round them out, make them look like more fractured than just cut. Maybe add just a few little cracks in as well, just to break up the surface. Vertebrae vibes. Kind of sounds like a death metal band. So I don't know how good this will look just as plastic. It may look better painted, because you could maybe paint like some sort of inner glow in between the cracks. But we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. If I was brave, I could cut one of these in half as well, but I'm not, so I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it nice and simple for the test one. Nice and simple. Like I said, I think you could get away with doing this without using the little pin. You could just keep it as... kind of try and remember which order they're in and stack them accordingly. But you are at risk of losing the positions if you're doing this kind of modifications, because I am changing the surfaces, so the surfaces won't line up perfectly, which is what I want. I want those cavities and little chasms and things like that to exist between the parts, because that's what makes them... If everything just fits together perfectly, then it's kind of pointless doing any of this. And I do appreciate I'm not looking at the comments at the moment, but I'm trying not to slice my fingers. Okay. Right, final piece, and then we'll try and glue them together. I really should have got myself some... Okay, that might work. That's 1mm, I think. You can use coloured marker to match each side. That way you don't lose the order of the joint roll. That's a good idea. Yeah, that is a good idea. Good tip. I think that's the biggest the biggest chance of causing problems at the moment is the pieces rolling around and losing the order that they're in. That's the biggest risk. Right, okay, so let's see if we can do this now. Let's see if we can get this to work. So I've got some 1mm plastic rod. Now I'm actually not 100% sure about this one because I've used this before and it said it's 1mm, but I actually think it was slightly off. Let's test it. Oh, another super chat, another biscuit break. Thank you very much, Plops of Corn. Thanks to you, I'm doing a Space Skaven using your Gene Stealer template. It's inspired me to use the leftovers through the Nurgle corrupted Cult Tenebrew. Tenebrew. What's that? I've not heard of that one. Okay. Oops. The Are we back? I think we're back. I think we are. I think we are. Are we back? Yes, we're back. Cool. I can't tell from my end. I don't know what happened then. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Yes, called Tenebrew. Tenebrous. I'm going to say Tenebrous. It is a... Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's a cult that found themselves infested rather than being the infestors when their bulkland was swallowed by a warp storm that stranded them on the outskirts of the Garden of Nurgle in the realm of chaos. The cult discovered that the true meaning of parasitism and horror. Eventually, the grandfather of plagues allowed them to emerge into real space once more, horrifically changed and ready to serve their new master's sickly agendas. That's really cool. Not only have you got a bunch of humans that have been corrupted by Tyranids, but then also corrupted by Nurgle as well at the same time. It's amazing. I really like that one. Thank you very much, Plops of Corn. I will keep that in mind actually for a suggestion for something we do in the future. And thank you very much for the sanctioned biscuit break. Right, okay. We're going to test because I think I've tested these ones before. Let's zero that. Okay, let's see. This says that they're a millimeter. Look at that. Honestly, you cannot get quality these days. I bought 1mm plastic rod and they sent me 1.04mm plastic rod. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Oh no. I've just knocked them out of order. Oh no, it's okay. I've only knocked... Hang on. Okay, I've just knocked the ends out of order. It's okay. Okay, that was close. That was me trying to be... That's my own fault. I'm going to blame myself for that one. Anyway, let's see if this works. It might not work. It might work. We shall find out. So, plastic glue, plastic rod. Wonderful. Look, this is the problem. It's just a little bit too... I know it sounds daft, but that 0.4mm actually makes all the difference. Right, I'm going to have to run the pin vise through it again just to try and widen the hole a little bit. Damn, you got point more plastic than you paid for. That's true. That is true. I prefer that to be added to the length though, if they're going to be generous, than to the width. Okay, that's a bit better. Oh, this is going to be hard going if this is going to be... Look how tight that is. It's not going well. It's not going well. Can't sand it down. I can, but I've just got nothing that's thin enough to sand down while still maintaining the hole. Oh, you mean the plastic rod? I could do, I guess. Let's do that. I don't have my... Oh, hang on. Just throwing out one idea for fun conversion: Primarus Grey Knights. Yeah, the new kits and stuff kind of making it quite appealing to do a Primarus Grey Knights. The new kind of, obviously we've got new plastic Terminators and stuff like that coming. Right, let's try that. See if we've shaved off that 0.4 millimeters now. Oh no. Oh no. We've got a disaster. I've lost a piece. Oh no. What is going on? This stream is an absolute disaster. What's going on? I'm not going mad. There were 5 pieces there, wasn't there? I've genuinely lost a piece. I should have put them in a nice little container out of the way. Oh, I've got it. Crisis averted. We've got it. It just, for some reason, it must have got stuck to my my pin vise as I was doing it. Okay. There we go. The sanding worked. We managed to get a little bit more. Right. So hopefully, if I get these 2 pieces lined up. Okay. You see what I'm trying to do? You can kind of see the crack that we've got there. But I could probably go a little bit further with the trims as well. Right, I'll keep that there. Let's clip that off, because that part doesn't go any further into there. Let's try to do the other half as well. So, I think this was the end. That's the cuff. Do I need to... Yeah, I need to sand this down as well. So you've watched streams about people watching like paint dry, things like that, but now you're watching a stream where someone is just literally filing down a piece of plastic rod. The stream is chaotic in more ways than one. It is indeed. It is indeed. Thank you very much, Pesky Serum 509. Any plans on visiting the state of any Warhammer conventions, tournaments like Alvio? I would like to. Yeah, I'm considering going to Adepticon next year. And I've heard good things about Nova as well, because obviously I like board games and stuff like that, and Nova has that kind of scene as well. So yeah, there's quite a few, isn't there, in the US? There's like Nova, Alvio, Adepticon. There's quite a few indeed. Right. Okay. So this hopefully is a little bit narrower. Taking that 0.4 the wrong way. It goes in that way. This is content. I've only been to a few US Open Series tournaments. I mean, I'm not really kind of the biggest in terms of gameplay, as you may have gathered from watching the channel. Now, I've got to remember which way this was now. I think it was that way. Yeah, I don't even have like a full army. Hang on, let me try and figure this out now. There we go, perfect. And then, this is the elbow, so this should, in theory... Oh, there's 2 holes there. Why is there 2 holes? Okay, I actually think that sort of worked. It's not it's not perfect, but it's kind of like, as a proof of concept, you can see how there is the segments there, and it is kind of allowing me to break these apart. And if I wanted to, I could spread them out a little bit as well and keep that slightly more fractured look. So if I push this down a little bit more, just give me a bit more room. There we go. Oops. Pete flying down plastic rods still more informative than Italian public service. Oh dear, this is the stuff you don't see normally in the videos. Yeah, okay, so you can see what I'm trying to get at with that, how you can have them kind of broken apart a little bit, maybe not as wide as the top one, but the one between the bottoms, you can see how there's like a little bit of a fracture there, but it keeps the same shape. And then if we glue that to this section, I think that's the way that the arm went, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that way. Okay, yeah. You can see when that's kind of glued together, it has like an arm which has been fractured, which I think would look quite good across the whole model. It's hard to say, really. Let's glue it together. Let's get this fixed into place, and then we can decide. Okay. So with the glue, this should make things a little bit easier. We'll see. Like I said, this isn't really going to be something I'm going to do across the whole model. I might do it maybe across part of the armor just to help to blend in from the shoulder, but I think across the whole model it might get a little bit too much. Okay, so let's spread that out a little bit. Not too much. That'll do. And then we can add a little bit more. Hushed quiet descends across the stream. Yeah, so this kind of is, like I said, it's kind of a proof of concept. I'm going to try it out on stream. If it works, then maybe I'll break it out into a full video. But for the time being, I kind of just wanted to play around with some stuff, and I thought it would be a good idea just to do this on a stream, just because it's quite interesting to see and share how my process is, because when you see a full video and it's kind of like completed and edited down, you're seeing essentially the highlights. You're not often seeing a lot of the trial and error that goes into making it. Sometimes I do like to include bits where I've said, oh, I did this and decided it didn't look right and changed my mind. But I still think it's good to show you the bits where I completely mess up, where it's not... There are plenty of videos that I've started and just give up halfway through because I didn't like the ideas. And hopefully this isn't one of them, but you never know, basically. Now, it seemed like a lot of work for pretty much not really much. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with that. I think it's not kind of the effect. It might work better with what my original idea was, to do it more of like a Commander Farsight, because his arm is more like strictly segmented between the pieces. So yeah, it's hard to say, really. It's hard to say. It's not really showing much. Maybe if I went a little bit heavier with the cuts. Yeah. Okay. Let's leave that to dry a little bit, and we can try some other stuff. What else do we have? You could use your uncompleted videos as a blooper reel video. I could do, yeah, if I still have the footage. There was a few videos which I've done. Yeah, more bevels maybe. I think so. Speaking of stuff you cut out, how much time do you spend looking for bits just to find one that works or try and find the perfect one? Oh, so long, so long. It's one of those situations where it can sometimes you just have in your head you know exactly which is the perfect piece. Sometimes you think that's the perfect piece, and then when you actually get it and put it into the model or onto the model, it just doesn't work. It's the wrong size, it's the wrong shape, it's the wrong scale. This doesn't work sometimes. Maybe we can do something with the helmets. Maybe we can do something interesting here. We might need to do a bit of sculpting, which is fine. Sculpting's not too bad to do on stream. One thing I quite like the idea of is imagine one of these that's kind of like broken open and then there's teeth inside it. It seems like maybe a little bit too on the nose though. I'm not sure if it's too much. For a fractured dissolving effect, you could try the tiny plasticard squares that were used in those amazing phasing dancing harlequins. Oh man, so fiddly. It's a good idea though. I do like that. That's cool. What's the idea you had the most hope for and just stopped because it didn't match your expectations? So I did a video and I did pretty much everything. I built the conversion, I painted it. It was all filmed and it never got released. I think I've touched on it in some of the videos that I've done, but it literally never got released, and that was basically just because I wasn't happy with it. It's hard to explain what it was. I don't know if I have any pictures of it. Let me see. It might be my old project folder. Okay, yeah. Okay, I've got some pictures of it here. So I didn't film the painting. I filmed the building. I actually still have all the footage. So yeah, maybe I could reference it. Let's pop this up on. Let's see. How do I add in a slideshow? Image slideshow. There we go. Okay. So there's a few pictures here. It's not a lot, but there's a few. Oh, let's change the size of that. Much too big. Right, so it's basically, it was like a Caradron Overlord Chaos thing. Of course, it's Chaos with me. So yeah, this I built this in 3 years ago now. But yeah, I built it and I just wasn't happy with it. It just didn't seem to gel. It didn't seem to work. I didn't think there was enough combining the components. But yeah, it just was one of those things where I did it and just wasn't. That's probably the best view of it. What I did like, I liked how I did the tentacles though. That was one thing that I enjoyed, and the rest of it I just wasn't really happy with. But yeah, there's sometimes I do builds and I just don't go anywhere with them. And yeah, I think that's everything. I think that I have to hand that actually didn't work out very well. Yeah. When my son got his braces off, they gave us a 3D printed cast of his teeth. I really wanted to give him a Nurgle terrain piece. That's pretty cool. I'd like that. If you could break out any of your conversions into a full army, which would you choose? Well, actually, I'm doing this. I'm going to show you because this is one of the things that you get as a benefit of being a stream watcher. Bear with me. So this video is going to come out in a couple of days, but you get to see it. If you don't want it spoiled, then look away now. You have 5 seconds to look away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hide that. So the next video is so you may remember I did a Space Wolf Demon Russ conversion where you converted Angron into demon corrupted version of them, and basically what I wanted to do was build that out into full army. And I realized that you can actually run a legal list of 8 demon princes and Angron in a World Eater's army for 2,000 points, basically because of the way that the rule 3 works. But you can have 6 demon princes because you've got one group of 3 with wings, one group of 3 without wings, and then you can add in 2 allies as well. It's legal. Stupid list, probably get trounced in any game that it will play, but it'll be fun. So I'm currently in the process of building that out. So I've done, obviously, Leman Russ already, done Angron, but I'm basically going to go through and convert each of the other well-known Space Wolf characters into Demon Prince versions. And the first one that I did is Logan Grimnar, and this is basically the result. So this is the video that's coming out on Tuesday. So yeah, this is basically the army that I'm hoping to build. It's going to take a while. It's going to be a very fiddly thing, but this is the general gist of things. This is Logan Grimnar. The hair is all sculpted. The beard is all sculpted. A few Space Wolf parts, but you'll see where I got those from. But yeah, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to build another 7 of these. They're not all going to necessarily be based on the Demon Prince kit. I've got some ideas for using Dreadnought kits as well, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's going to be on Tuesday. It doesn't have the painting in that because it's basically I painted this the same way as I painted Leman Russ. So yeah, if you want to know, I painted this Leman Russ video, same concept, same thing. So yeah. So that's what I did. That's what I've been working on the last couple of weeks. But yeah, that's the army that I'm slowly working on. I actually got invited to a tournament for. It's a strange number, but it kind of there's a reason for it. So 1,750 points, single day tournament, 40k. I don't actually have a full 40k army. And it's in November, and there's no way I'm going to get 7 Demon Princes done between now and November. But I realised that I actually painted a full Firstborn World Eaters Horus Heresy army last year for the Horus Heresy release, and I actually worked out that if you take the Age of Darkness box set and you add on a Devastator squad, it's about 1,750 points. So it's going to be a 40k army, but it's all going to be Firstborn Marines, which is pretty fun. It's going to be quite interesting to run that rather than being Primaris. Right, anyway, let's see what we can do. Like I was saying, I really like the idea of cutting this in half and having some sort of something. Should we just go with eyes? I'm quite liking the Zinchi look, actually. I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to do eyes. I'm going to do it. Let's go for it. Let's give it a go. I'm going to glue this on underneath because I think if I don't, I'm going to run the risk of gluing a load of stuff into it and then not being able to do anything. Right, so let's clean that up first, and then, yeah, that sits quite nicely there. Perfect. We're going to go for eyes because I love eyes. Eyes are just... There's not enough eyes on Zinch models, in my opinion. And I've got a whole box of ball bearings down in my drawer, so we're going to be using those. Where's my scalpel? Let's use the fire. Oh, it's there. Okay. Yeah, I'm quite surprised actually. This isn't something which has been done very often. I think it's mainly because a lot of people have that. It's the whole idea that the Eldar there isn't really much in the way of Chaos Eldar, is there? There's obviously Dark Eldar, and Slanesh was born from Eldar, but yeah, there's not really much in the way of Chaos Eldar that's talked about. I'm not 100% sure why that is. I'm sure there's probably some deep Eldar lore enthusiasts in the comments who can enlighten me as to why that is. But yeah, there's not much in the way of Chaos stuff for Eldar. So yeah, when I was kind of doing a little bit of research to see if anyone had any takes on it or anything like that, there wasn't really anything. This is, as far as I know, some of the first kind of Chaos Corrupted Wraith Guard, at least. I think I've seen Chaos Corrupted Eldar that people have been playing around with before, but I don't think I've seen Wraith Guard. I've seen some really interesting paint schemes before. I've not seen much in the way of seen much in the way of actual full conversions though, so we'll see how it works. Sculpted eyes or kitbashed eyes? Neither. They're neither. They're going to be, let me get out my box of eyes here. This is my beautiful box of eyes. All those eyes. Lovely shapes, well, I say shapes, they're all spheres. Lovely, lots of sizes, variations in sizes. We've got these eyes, which are far too big, but I'm probably going to be looking at maybe something, a mixture of this size, and then if I do like quite a cutout, and I'm thinking of doing, if we imagine, let's get a pencil, let's see if we can draw it. So I'm kind of imagining some sort of cutout section like that. So it's kind of, you see it's lopsided, and then inside that doing lots of different sizes of eyes. That kind of idea. During painting, you could play around with the hinting that soul stones could be turned into eyes, or you could sculpt straight into the eyelids, flashy bits around the soul. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I think Zeech, whoever suggested Zeech earlier in the stream, and I was like, I'm just going to do it undivided. No, we're gonna do it as you suggested. So I'm not gonna take ownership of this idea. So we've got the old trusty saw here. Let's see what we can do with this. I'm actually quite glad I did the little marking. It gives me roughly an idea, so I'm going to try and make a bit of a scratch just to give me an idea of where the cut needs to go. You could have eyes running along the spine. Yeah, there's lots of options. This is the thing. This is what we need. This is why we need a collaborative community effort for kit bashing. There's lots of ideas that get floated around. I think it kind of works well having all these eyes poking at this, because it kind of fits in nicely with they're quite, what's the word? They're faceless, aren't they? They're basically the Wraith God. They don't really have much in the way of features, and they have this kind of ethereal look because they don't have any visible faces. So it kind of adds a whole creepy aspect to it to begin with, before you even start to add any chaos effects. So if you start to take what is not recognizable as a face, you already take that creepy factor even further by adding in something which really shouldn't be there. You're thinking, oh, I would have preferred no face. No face is creepy enough, but adding just a bunch of eyes where there shouldn't have been. So yeah, I'm trying to get I'm not going through all of the thickness of the plastic just yet. I'm trying to get the rough shape marked out, and then once the rough shape's marked out, we can kind of worry about digging that out a bit. And again, I'm making this a little bit smaller than I probably want it, just because it's easier to expand out the cuts than it is to make them smaller again afterwards. I don't know how thick this is actually. It's quite thick plastic. Should have played it really cool and placed googly eyes on it all complicated. Like, if I had some, that'd be great. Yeah, it's such an easy way of converting. That would have been just yeah, stick googly eyes on it. It's actually a little bit thicker than I thought. I'm just trying to see if I can see. Yeah, it's kind of like quite dense actually. I thought it was a bit more hollow than that. Evidently not. I would like to make a hole because it kind of makes it easier to attach the eyes then. Now, the problem I've got now is that my super glue has clogged up, which is not too bad because I can take the lid off, but it's going to be extremely messy, which isn't going to be conducive for doing streaming. I'm just going to have to glue all my fingers together. So you've got that to look forward to. There we go. Okay, we're starting to get through. I'm soaring into a bank vault. Right, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, that's the basic kind of area that I wanted to remove, and then I can... Yeah, I can probably pick that out a little bit. There's still a few bits that can just be taken. Rough up the edges, stick a bunch of eyes in there, job done. And to be honest, you could probably get away with just doing that. Wear gloves while dealing with glue. I would do that. That's a very sensible selection suggestion, Rugger. But the problem is, when I'm wearing gloves, I'm actually worse because I feel like I lose part of that tactile control. So my fingers won't get glued, but the gloves will get glued to everything else. So the gloves will get glued to me. The gloves will get glued to the model. It'll be a mess, let's face it. Okay, yeah, so you can see we kind of got the... So I could have them almost like bristling out of it, or I can have it a little bit more deeper into... I don't know, what would look creepier? Like right along this edge here, almost like they're spilling out, or just a few eyes deeper in. Howdy everybody, glad to see the amazing indistinguishable box art still on the screen. I kind of forgot it's there, just blends into the background. I also think it's hilarious for anyone who's only just started watching me streaming on YouTube and didn't catch the earlier streams on Twitch. Yeah, just trying to explain what that is. Do a squad, some with eyes deep inside, others bristling with teeth, eyes, flesh, and twisted muscle. I think they're raw muscle fibers from the metal cow spawn. Yeah, I think this is the thing with Nurgle. Not Nurgle, sorry. Yeah, Nurgle to a degree, but Tzeentch definitely. There's so many options. You could just have like a face full of tentacles. That'd be pretty cool. This is the thing with kitbashing, because you can just completely decide to go a completely different direction halfway through a project. You don't always know how something's going to work until you actually play around with it. You can have an idea, but sometimes the best way of working on that idea is actually just to grab some clippers and a knife and actually start cutting away, because you don't always know if it's going to work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Right, let's make this a little bit more jagged, I think. Let's add some cracks in here if we can. I think we're getting there. I think that'll do. Chaotic Painting, I just want to say that your skills and work is absolutely incredible and have inspired me in my kitbashing. I really enjoy your channel. Sorry to be a fanboy. Yeah, you're very much welcome. Thank you very much for your lovely comment. Yeah, it's one of those things, like I said earlier, the thing that I want to do the most is just inspire people. It sounds really big-headed. I just want to do this to inspire people. That's all I want to do. I just want to inspire people. I want people to just look at their lives and look at me and just feel inspired. No. I want to get people to do kit bashing because it's fun and not enough people do it, in my opinion. Beaters Games Workshop psyop to get people to buy low selling kits for out there conversions. Oh no, but I've been found out. This is it now. Sorry guys, channel's going down. We're shutting everything down. Been found out. I quite like that because if you look at this side, it's like very scarred and broken, but this side's still quite pristine. It's like a bit of a funny enough. I was watching Batman yesterday, the one with Joker and Two-Face, not the one with the Riddler and the one with the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan one. Right. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's see if we can stick some eyes in there now. Like I said, this is going to be interesting because my glue. So the way I have to get the glue now. Hopefully the lid actually opens. Okay, the lid's still opening. That's good. Right. Okay. So I have to open this, and you can see there's a lot of glue in there still. There's an awful lot of glue. I don't know if you can see on the camera. There's glue in there. So what I have to do is I have to get a section of wire, like so. Let's clip a little bit off. It's not all glamorous being a YouTuber, folks. I don't have like brand new tubs of super glue. I instead use half glued together pieces and wire. What have I done with my eyes? Where have they? Oh, they're there. Okay, cool. You should probably have a spooky flame coming from the hole in the head you just made. I think this thing was I could actually get away with doing quite a lot of little demonic little flames. Right, let's see. Hopefully we don't lose these. So I have. Let me just check the sizes. I think I normally use the 1mm balls, which I think are I think they're the 1mm ones. I believe so. Yeah, they're about 1mm. So I usually normally use those when I do things like studded armor and things like that. But I think that we will go for this size eye. We can probably fit 2 of those in, and then a larger size eye. So if we pop one of these in the middle, I don't know how big this is, but we do have the somewhere. Where is it going? There we go. Okay. Look at this. I actually have this at hand. No. Look at that. That is craftsmanship. It's a spot on 3mm. That's what we want. That's what we want. Not 1.04. Spot on 3mm. Right, anyway, so the idea is pop one of these in here. I want to have quite a large eye. because I think that would look... I think maybe we can widen the hole a little bit. What do you think? Just so it sits a slightly recessed in there. I don't want it too bulging. Let's just open up that recess a little bit. To be honest, I don't know why they would have to sell ball bearings in a pack like this. Why would anyone... I mean, there might be some engineers out there who can enlighten me, but who would need a variety pack of ball bearings? I know why I need them, because I like to use them for eyes and things like that. But who... Like, does anyone use them in... Does anyone use them in... Oh, no. We dropped the ball bearing. Does anyone use them in their work, in that format? I know ball bearings are probably quite common. Right, we got it. We got it. Okay, cool. Right, okay. Let's try and drop it in there. Hopefully we have. Still a little bit too big. Maybe if I squeeze it in. Yeah, not far off. Not far off. We can get a little bit more. Now, if I was sensible, I'd actually grab a 3mm drill bit and have that ready and prepped and just drill out a hole ready for it, but no. Okay, it's starting to go a little bit more in there now. I think that's about right, I think. Yeah, and that gives me space to maybe squeeze a really small one in there, and then a couple of smaller ones here. I think about 4 eyes will be, and then everyone can call them Specky 4 eyes, so that's good. Right, so this is the technique. I get my glue, dip in the wire into the glue, as you do. I'm just going to put a bunch in there. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying not to put this anywhere where it can glue itself to the surface. And we're going to grab a 3mm to act as the center point. It's, yeah, that's perfect. Drop that in. Make sure it's in place. Hopefully the glue takes it. Yeah, that's good. That's the first one. And then let's go down to I think this is probably going to be 1.5 or 2mm. We shall find out. And that should drop in nicely just behind. There we go. And then if I put some really small ones at the back and then just there, that should help finish it off. I think I might need to go for even smaller than... This one's tiny. Let's put a little bit more glue in there. Do. And then we can grab one of these teeny tiny. They're used for all sorts of appliance repairs, to play metallic marbles, of course, DVD players, washing machines, stuff like that, fixing bearings and things. Oh no, it's my French bulldog. I'd probably try to eat all these bear bearings. Yes, which I do try to keep these as far away from my own dogs as possible. Oh shit. Oh no. I actually find the easiest way to pick these up is just by placing your finger onto them. Right, okay, cool. There. So that's the teeny tiny ball bearing. That's the smallest one I have. It's maybe 0.75 mil, I think. Maybe half a mil. We'll see. And then I think I can get a 1mm ball bearing in just in front of it, which was these ones, I believe. The dogs have been mentioned. The dog tax must be paid. We will maybe get the dogs in at the end of the stream. We will maybe get the dogs in. I shall see. As long as if someone reminds me on about 10 minutes or so before the end of the stream, I will promise I'll get the dogs in. Let's get a fresh bit of glue there, actually. Okay, right. Drop that in. Tiny little 1mm ball bearing, and there we go. I think using the different size actually helps with the effect. It kind of creates more of a kind of chaotic look. And I think if we painted this in probably fairly bland colors, I think, and then all these mutated sections, we kind of go really vibrant with the colors there. I think that will really help to sell the fact that this is essentially like an empty shell that's been corrupted from the inside. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy with that myself. So we've got 3 mil. I think that's 2 mil. 0.5, 0.75, probably 0.5 actually, and that's like a 1 mil ball bearing there as well. Very fiddly, but you do get used to using them after a while. Repair your super glue. The problem is I can't repair the super glue nozzle because the lid is stuck. That's the problem. The lid is literally stuck. You can see where I've like had pliers and stuff trying to get it off, but it literally, yeah. No, it's not even the nozzle that's blocked. It's like literally the lid has super glued itself to it. I don't know what I've done, but I just have a terrible reputation. I have a terrible track record when it comes to super glue. Do you have a favourite magic in a bottle paint that you just love to slap on and slap everywhere? Agrex, Oil, Streaking Grime, Oil Wash. I'm currently addicted to Seraphim Sepia. Well, I do have a favourite. It is Dirty Damn Rust, which is what I've used on a few Rust effects, actually. Have I used it in anything recently? Comrade Kurz's base, I think I used it on. Yeah, I think that's the most recent use. But yeah, that stuff's so cool. It just has some really cool effects. It's water soluble. You kind of make sure you shake it up if you ever use it, and you just slap it onto a surface, and it gives like a really nice rusty effect. So yeah. How much is the pack of BBs? I don't know actually. Let's have a look. I bought them like a year ago, so let's have a look. I got them from Amazon. So I bought it was 620 piece set for £12 on Amazon. So yeah, not too bad really. Okay, soaking stupidly hot, can't touch water to get inside. It does look okay. I'll give it a go. Thank you very much for your suggestion. After the stream, I'll boil it to see if it can get out. Thank you very much. Any tips for coming up with a kitbash style for a custom Space Marine chapter? Yeah, this kind of question that comes up a lot actually. People are always wondering how to do things like kitbash custom chapters and stuff like that. And one of the things I always suggest is you need to kind of come up with a reason to why they are the way they are. And it doesn't necessarily have to be completely sound. It doesn't have to be completely airtight in terms of an explanation. But you kind of need to look at... I'm going to go on FaceTime here because we're going to have a little chat now. Oh no, wrong one. There we go. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to think of a reason to be the way they are. So it can be, the reasons can be many things. They can be a particular fighting style. They can maybe fight in certain environments. They can fight in certain ways. They're used for different types of battles, and that can be used to direct how you customize stuff. You can also think about maybe where they came from. So obviously a lot of chapters are based on worlds, and if they recruit from like a singular world, then quite often those traits come through because the people inhabited that world. So yeah, if you think about Space Wolves, for example, the world that they come from was like a tribal, frozen planet, and it makes sense as to why the Space Wolves can keep those traditions going. So let's play a game now. Whilst I'm kind of mentally recouping from those tiny metal balls. If someone can give me an idea, we can do like some sort of like improvisation stand-up thing here. Someone give me either a type of planet or a combat style, or maybe both, and we can come up with something. We can come up with a custom chapter. I'm gonna get ready for this. Ocean planet, siege, volcanic planet. Okay, Mediterranean cave warfare. Swamp world, space marines that fight by tickling things to death. A bat theme. Okay, right. Okay, I can see that. Let's take. We've got bat theme, and then we've got subterranean planet. And I think actually this is perfect. So basically, if you imagine that you've got a planet where, so you can think, okay, why would people live in a subterranean world? Well, it could be for necessity. Maybe the surface is completely destroyed. It's like blasted, which means it's like a death world, but people still live on it. Or maybe it's a asteroid. Maybe it's a mining planet. Maybe there is people who live within the asteroid itself, and they draw from those people who can spend a lot of time underground. So you start to think, well, okay, if you had people that were used to being underground, they were used to operating in darkness, then we think, okay, well, maybe they're miners. So you can start to incorporate that kind of aspect to it. You can start thinking, well, maybe they use things like drills. They use like the Centaurian drills and things like that. You can think maybe their armor's a little bit heavier. Some of the armor's like chipped away. It's like worn down. But then you can start thinking, well, the caves are going to need to be mapped. It's going to darken the caves. There's maybe toxic gases. And you can start to feed that back in. They can have some sort of heavy reliance on Auspex. They're prolific at using Auspex technology more so than anyone else because they're used to working in situations where the Auspex is the only thing that you've got. You can only go by sensor readings because it's too dark. It's too there's maybe interference from the different alloys and metals that exist in this rock, and there's all these different things you can start to feed off of. So you can start thinking, okay, well, I've got a model which is, you can go for heavy intercessors. They're big and burly. They kind of have that kind of mining aesthetic. You can give them extra armor plating or something like that. You can make their weapons look like drills and axes and pickaxes. Maybe dip into the Votan kits for stuff like that. And then from there, you can start thinking, okay, well, how would their technology incorporate? You can add tech to their helmets, give them more specs, sensors, things like that. So yeah, it's all. If you start off with a basis for why they are, it's so easy to go through into why they exist today. And rather than trying to come up with a look or with an appearance, it's much easier to go back and think, okay, what is it that they do? Because it can branch off so far as well. Some people have mentioned as well some let's have a look. More robust breathers as well. Exactly. Raven Guard's accessible, all Gravis armor. There's so many different options. Maybe there are super predators on the surface, but the caves, another type of death world. I'd raise guerrilla ambush tactics, just competence. Exactly, yeah. So you could do that. You could have it. You don't necessarily need to go down the mining thing. They could just live underground because it's a necessity. Maybe the planet is, maybe the magnetosphere's been destroyed or damaged, and there's solar radiation. So you can have maybe they're very kind of specialized in hazardous material aspects. Yeah, there's so many different kind of directions you can go, and I always find it's good to start off with a reason for them to be that way, and you can grow out of that. That is the fertilizer, is the horse manure that your idea will grow into. That's just my 2 penners. Mediocre Hobbies, hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining the chat. Only the bravest surface explorer. Exactly, yeah. So this is the thing. You've kind of started off with a subterranean idea. You think, okay, why are people in the subterranean surface? Why are people existing there? And then you can build it up from there. You can build the story. And because you're building it piece by piece, you can. It feels more organic. It feels more like it's well thought out than it does if you was like, well, I like this aesthetic, so I'm just going to glue a bunch of this. And it helps to keep things unique whilst also keeping them on track, if that makes sense. Space Ducks, obsession with bread and amphibious combat specialists, special beaky helmets to accommodate beaks. Perfect, yeah. Playing around with the concept of a Sylvaneth army with a fungal vibe, ally infected from The Last of Us. How would you go about making something like that? Could such a concept work in your mind? Well. I'm going to keep saying well until I get to the way I need to. Well. Someone called Pete the Wargamer did this video called How to Convert Paint Fungus Infected Orcs. Let's skip to the end. Oh, the Skillshare. Yeah, so I did this with the orcs. You could basically just look at this. This is probably something that you could use. I show you how to sculpt mushrooms. This guy's got roots coming out of him. There are mushrooms on the shield. Yeah, I showed people how. So yeah, little mushrooms that I made and sculpted out. I remember them. I was really happy with those mushrooms. Those are some of like the favourite mushrooms that I sculpted. But yeah, I would probably do something like this. So these ones on the shield were actually plasticard that were kind of cut out and slotted in. And then I just kind of added green stuff to make it look more... Let's go back. Yeah, you can see that it's cutting out the sections, sawing the sections, gluing it in, and then, yeah, just filling it out with green stuff. But yeah, the actual mushrooms themselves. Oh, look at that dead animal. I haven't used that for a while. But yeah, check that out. Apparently they're going to sell a vampire bowling team. Like that. Bomb marines that utilize one unit and they just spam bombs. Could geography also play into stuff like this? For Age of Sigmar, like Cities of Sigmar, but they use buccaneers and Caradhran weaponry. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can use. Cities of Sigmar is a good one, for example, because it's a little more restrictive in a way because you don't have like a whole galaxy full of planets to pick from, but you do have that aesthetic of the different realms, and obviously there's different almost like sub areas within those realms. So like the realm of Akshi, there's like obviously volcanic areas, there are desert areas, there are areas which have life in them because obviously the volcanic soil is very rich in nutrients, so you can kind of go lots of different directions, and you can feed your armies around that as well. That's kind of what I did with the Fung Orcs. They were something which were very much maybe orcs that existed in the either Gur, the swamps of Gur, or in the kind of Gyron, the realm of life. Do you think you would ever do you do any other Tyranid conversions in the future? I know they are very new when it comes to converting, since you can't really use other bits. Yeah, I think so. I've bought some. I want to do some big kit bashes, but I kind of lost momentum on those. Maybe I will do in the future, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll probably get back to the super glue's dried on these now. So that's what time is it? I haven't checked the time. Look at that, halfway through the stream already. Look at that. We're having a wonderful time. And all we've done is the head with some eyes. That's all we need, though, isn't it? I quite like this aesthetic. I quite like the idea of putting the eyes in there. Actually, I think this will work. So I'll explain. Oops. I'll explain part of the reason why I did this as well, because because where is it now? Right. Okay. So I was playing around with the 40k app because that's what we do. Okay, 40k app, and I built a list. Played around with it, and it's a little bit too big, so I need to trim it down a little bit. But the rough idea of it would be to have, I don't know if you can see that on camera very easily. So it's 2,000 points, and it would basically be a Spirit Seer, a whole bunch of Wraith Blades, Wraith Guard, Wraith Knight, Wraith Lords, and maybe like a Wraith Seer as well. Slightly over the points limits, but I could probably, these are 160 points, I'd probably just have to drop out probably some Wraith Blades and add in maybe some Spirit Seers instead. But yeah, that's kind of the idea I was running with, and I was thinking, how could I build an army which would be just these guys but wouldn't look boring? But yeah, it's kind of why I came up with the idea. Oh, we're back. We managed. I think we managed to avoid that one. That wasn't too bad. Right. Okay. I'm actually going to build one of these, and we're going to get at least one of the models done. So first of all, what weapons should we give them? Would you like to see Wraith? What are the options? The weapon option is different in the game. Thanks, Yankee. I hope you have a good evening. You're going to miss the dogs, I'm afraid. If you want to drop in about like 10 to 8, no, 10 to 10 UK time, BST, might get to see the dogs. Okay, the Ghost Axe is actually a different weapon. Ghost Swords, 5 attacks. It hits on 4s, strength 6. -2 AP damage. What's the shield do? All gear options. 4+ invulnerable save. Okay. Swords, axe, and shield. 2 types of gun. Do the Bone Singers have the rules? They don't. I don't think they do. I couldn't see them on the rules, unfortunately. But yeah. Anti-tank gun or super flamer for range, swords or shield and axe for melee. What would you suggest? What should we go for? Should we go for shield and axe, or swords? What are we going for? No, I don't want it to gun. I want to do combat weapons. Is this common conversion? It's not. It's a Zinch, but we're not really worried. We're not really too worried. What is the look at this. This is the old Craft Worlds Start Collecting, which just came with 5 Wraith Guard, Farseer, a Wraith Lord. Is that a Lord? Or is it Wraith Knight? Whatever it is. I think the big one. Whatever the big one isn't. Flamer would be much more appropriate. It would be, I agree, but if I want to build this into an army, sword. Oh, look at that. So we've got sword, we've got axe, sword. It's a shame we can't do poles on this. Swords, maybe take some of the images. So actually, I actually used one of these swords, didn't I? So I don't have a full complement of swords, but that's fine. Okay, let's go for swords. Why not? Let's go for swords. I think I might have messed up one of the arms, so I'll have to overcome that. Sword and axe. I don't think you can do sword and axe, can you? Is it just sword and sword, or augury options? You can each have their ghost swords replaced with one growth stack. Okay, yeah, so it's sword and shield or just swords. Okay, makes sense. Let's go for swords, shall we? Let's go for swords. Actually, no. Yes. No. I don't know. I quite like the eyes on there. We could use those as eyes. Let's go for shield. Let's go for shield. Okay, cool. We're gonna go for shield. Shield and axe. Right. Okay. So I've got a head. That's a good start. And the legs are 29, 13, 24. So literally, all we're gonna do so far is just clean up components. 29, 30. Oh man, these are really nice kits compared to some of the more modern stuff. When did this kit release? Usually this is on the sprue. 2012. This kit's 10 years old. 11. 24. Okay. Kabuski! Hello, welcome to the stream. Got what we've done in an hour and a half. So much. I also ate a biscuit as well. I've got 2 more biscuits left, so if anyone feels the need to, I am eating a biscuit per super chat. So 24, where are you? 24, 24, 24. It's 25. Completely lost it. I can't see it. Is it a chocolate digester? No, it's a regular. It is a regular biscuit at the moment. I do have some dark chocolate digestives downstairs, but I'm just on regular digestives. Look at that. Okay, it's a McVitie's as well. Perfect. Where is it? Oh, there's another sprue. Okay. Is that it? Have we got it? 26, is that what I needed? 24. I reckon they're probably all the same, to be honest, after all this. 26. 27. 24 is on the first sprue. Okay. Okay, of course. So I think the legs are going to be fairly similar. I think what I'm going to go for is maybe something on the torso. We're maybe going to add some more eyes to the torso. I think that'll look pretty cool. Maybe like on the opposite side. The instructions don't tell you how to build the torsos, or do they? Oh, that's pretty cool. The armor is different for the. That's quite interesting. Right, so I've got some legs. Let's get a torso built. 8, 13, 19. Is that all? 3 parts? That's pretty good. And they all work in between each other. That's pretty good. Silence as I concentrate on clipping these away. 13, and then I needed a back spine as well. Are they on here? There's one of them. 23, yeah, that'll do. Yeah, I think whoever it was, I do apologize. My goldfish brain has forgotten your name, but whoever it was that suggested painting the eyes, the soul stones as eyes, is genius. Great idea. They're covered in these. Is that everything that I need? I think it is. And then these go in there. Is that right? What's going on here? That doesn't look right. Oh, it is. Okay, yeah. Interesting. I didn't realize they had these like big collars. That's interesting. I thought they were a bit more integrated, but yeah, okay, cool. Right, so what I'm thinking is if the head goes on like that, and we have kind of like the eyes going this way, I'm thinking of maybe having some sort of slash in the torso, maybe on this side, which has some more eyes coming out. I think it would probably have to be like an upward cut, and that just acts as like a slight opposite to this one. And I think that'd help to make a big difference, to be honest. I think even with just that, it would make a huge difference to how things look. For the weapon, use one axe and one sword for the core factor. I think I could get away with that. Iron Animals. Hello, I've been making a Slave to Darkness to spoil our army with a full beast/monster theme. What Games Workshop kits should I use to make the Soul Grinder kit? Soul Grinder with, okay. Small Slave to Darkness, but spoil our army with a full beast monster. What I would do is probably go for something a little bit more. Let's have a quick tangent. We're not adding many tangents in this stream. Let's go for it. So you're going to want to look at definitely something big and bestial. I think that's going to fit nicely. You don't even probably need to use the actual Soul Grinder as a basis. I think as long as you put it on the same size base, which is the big one, you can pretty much use anything because it's quite big as well. I think, let's see, what I would use given the choice. One of these would look pretty good. I'm not sure what the base size though. Let's see if the Soul Grinder comes up. There's a lot on here to choose from. Yeah, the stone tusks. Okay, Soul Grinder, there we go. Let's see. So he comes with a 160mm round base. So you'd need to have something that fits on that ideally. I think if you go gamesworkshop.com, and I think if you search for that, it should bring up everything that comes with a 160mm round base. Maybe not. Okay, we'll try it. We'll maybe not. But yeah, you want something which will just, as long as it's on the right size base. If it's a bit smaller, doesn't matter. But there's so much choice. Just literally, so you could go for like one of the Saurus Coldbloods, maybe even a Magmadroth. There is the Orc stuff's pretty cool as well to use. Yeah, so much stuff for kind of like a beast themed. Yeah, a Ragnarok Spider, good choice. Yeah, you can have that kind of spidery effect as well. Yeah, no, there's lots of choices. The Vortex Beasts are pretty cool models as well. But I think it's not, for the most part, when it comes to anything like this, I would always say that the biggest thing to get right is the base size and then the rough height. Because as long as you kind of have something which is roughly the same size and shape, and you say to your opponent if you're playing like competitively, this is a count as such and such, and as long as it's like a one-off and you're not kind of having 5 units all represented by the same model, then that's fine. Most people are going to be happy about that. So yeah, give that a go. Give that a go. Make thing on a back spike or tentacle for max chaosification. Yes, it's a real term. Even put an eye on the end of the tentacle. Yeah, there is a lot of choices, I think. If I had more Tzeentch kits, I would definitely be digging into these. But I think just giving them eyes is actually... Because to be honest, one of the things I don't always want to do is kit bash stuff with too much emphasis on other kits. So like if I can get away with using something which is just sculpted or like something like ball bearings, and that's great because it kind of cuts down on the number of kits that someone needs to buy or components that someone needs to get hold of, because you can just buy a big box of ball bearings and use those instead, and that's a lot cheaper. But yeah, you could go really far with this. You could pretty much just get a box of something like blue horrors or pink horrors or something like that, and you can have arms reaching out of them as well. That would look pretty cool, actually. It'd be nice to try and do things which sold that aspect of the Wraith constructs being an empty shell, and then it's not necessarily corrupted in the sense that it's being mutated or it's fell to chaos for its own volition or things like that. It's more that it's just, it's almost like it's been like an orc looted truck. It's just a chaos looted Wraith Guard. Okay, so that is, I'm probably going to need to attach this midsection as well, because that's going to probably impact where the eyes can go. So I'm going to glue this in place. I'm going to glue the legs in, which seems like a really strange way of doing things, to actually glue everything together before I start to modify it. And normally I wouldn't do that. Normally I would say do all this kind of cutting, but because this is quite an intricate model, it's probably going to be easier to glue things together first and then start to cut things up afterwards, just to make sure everything's lining up still. That's the only time I would recommend modifying components like after gluing them, is if you need to make sure that things properly line up together, and sometimes it can be quite difficult to do that until things are properly lining up. Yeah, so right, let's scrape this down. Perfect, wonderful. Maybe some feathers if you don't mind sculpting them. Yeah, could do. Even paint the carved spike crystally. Yeah, there's lots of different things you could do. Really, really kind of opens it up. But yeah, I think going for the aspect of a chaos model that's, yeah, it's an empty vessel that's been taken over, so it doesn't necessarily. You can do just generic battle damage as well. It could be the Wraith Guard's been essentially killed, for want of a better phrase. And the corruption's kind of seeped in afterwards. It's like had nothing to do with the original destruction of it. Right, so let's get some glue on this now. So I would like to get one model done, even if we don't get the arms on. Compressor's just kicking in for no reason. Okay, glue that on, and then we'll glue the other part of the torso. These are actually really nice kits to, considering, I mean, they're not really old. They're 2012, but they're actually pretty decent kits, to be honest. I'm surprised. I think 2012 was the sweet spot for components, for kits and stuff, where they were multi-part, had lots of options, and you could still pose things and things like that, but they hadn't got that over-engineered point yet, which I think a lot of the newer kits kind of fall into the trap of. They're just kind of overly detailed, and it just, the way that things have cut up. But yeah, zombie Wraith Guard. Yeah, basically that's what we're doing. But like zombie in the sense of a dead body that's being controlled by like a necromancer, as opposed to a walking dead zombie. And you could even go a long way with just the painting as well. The painting can make a massive difference. If you painted the actual majority of the model in quite a, if you imagine like a bleached bone effect, so if you imagine how bones look when they've been left out on a beach or something like that, they go very ashen and pale and kind of almost pockmarks. You could paint it like that, and then paint the zinchy bits like really bright and vibrant, and that would make those aspects of them stand out, and it would make it look more dead and like it's been puppeted by, literally puppeted by Tzeentch, I guess. The thing is as well with the, so I think you run the Spirit Seers, is that, was I correct? Yeah, Spirit Seers. So those are pretty good actually for running with Wraithblades, because they can only join Wraithblades, Wraithguard, and Wraithlord units. And one of the abilities of them is they give, while this model is leading units, weapons in that unit have the lethal hits ability, and each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the roll. So yeah, it's like it's great just to run a load of spirits. So you could literally just have like Tzeentch sorcerers, and those can be the guys who are actually controlling them. A little bit like the Cataphrons. I'm not going to glue that on. I don't think I need that yet. We can get away with that one. Let's clean up the legs and then get those in place. Getting close to 200k. So I know. I think it's like the last 10,000, and I'm at 200. So I was hoping to hit it by the end of the year, but I don't think I'm going to hit it at this point. But yeah, that's crazy. Nearly 200,000 people find this stuff interesting. Who'd have thunk? Literally scraping plastic. Would be cool to see some kind of melted demon who has full control of its Wraithbone. That'd be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. It'd be like, you could have it so that it's almost using Wraithbone as like constituent parts of itself, if that makes sense. I guess the thing that this probably reminds me the most of is the cockroach guy from the first Men in Black film. Just like some sort of creature that's just wearing the shell of its victim, trying to blend in. How did you do, fellow Aldo? Right, let's leave those to dry for a little bit. So Ian, first time catching the stream, gotta say this is almost therapeutic. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself on a beach. The water is lapping gently against the stream. Against the shore. It's very therapeutic when it's mistakes like that. Kitbashing and crafting is cool. I think a lot of the stereotypes are falling away. I think so. I think there's been a lot of stuff like games and media and stuff like that has no, it's weird. If the whole kitbashing thing doesn't work out, you can always go into the SMR piece. I've had so many people just suggest that I do that, and I can't I can't really. I don't know, what can I do. What I don't actually know what they do. What's a pleasant sound? Is this a pleasant sound? Oh, I have my scalpel and a piece of needle. No, it's not for me. It's not for me. Scraping the plastic. I apologize. Some people might be going through people. I would pay good money to hear Pete and Henry from Cult of Pain read me books. Maybe we could do. I'll have to. I'll drop them a message. I'll. we can just read books. We'll set up like an OnlyFans and just read books to people. That's a good idea. Are you excited for the new Marines to come out in 2 weeks? I am indeed. I am indeed. If I'm not misremembering, I think Mini Wargaming has some corrupted Wraith constructs in one of their Deathwatch narrative campaigns. That was pretty cool. I've not seen that. I actually did have a look, and I couldn't really find anything, which is strange. Which is kind of like I thought there would be more, to be honest, but. Right, okay, that should be dry. So, the intention now is to glue this into place. I need to kind of make sure that this is... Is that how that fits? That's right, yeah. So my idea is really to get a kind of a cut, similar kind of cut that we've got up here, just along this kind of section here. Maybe a smaller one, going across this like ridge line, and just maybe pop a couple of eyes in there. I think that'll help to balance things out, so it's not just in one place. Let's do the same as what we did last time. Let's just start. I'm tempted just to. No, I'll make 2 cuts with the saw. The saw's a bit more heavy duty. And then if I do another cut above it, hopefully we can blend the two. Oops. I could do a little jeweler's clamp, I think that's what I need for this kind of thing. I did have one years ago, but the problem is I found that I couldn't I needed something more like a softer grip, because it would hold onto the model, but then it would kind of start to mark it, because it wasn't, to get a decent enough hold, it kind of had to really press on it, which ended up actually damaging some of the components, which is why I stopped using it. So we've got a chunk missing there. Let's try and widen that out a little bit. We need to get some space for the eyes. Oscar Andreas, yes, there should be the rest of the stream. Well, the whole stream will be available as a VOD pretty much immediately after this, I think. YouTube's pretty quick. So yeah, make sure you check that. Thank you for joining me this evening. Widen that out a bit. What time are we on? Oh, we've got plenty of time. We've got a good time. Fractal clamp, kind of expensive, but so cool. I'll have to check those out. Right, let's clean that up, see what we've got. I could probably get 2 in there, maybe an extra one. Maybe let's make it a little bit more, widen out that gap there a little bit. Okay. Let's soften off a couple of those edges. Well, I'll say soften off, but make them look a little bit more jagged. Make them look less harsh of a line. Right. See if we can squeeze some eyes in there. Any tips for making an SCP-inspired Astra Militarum army using mainly Tempestus bits? When you say SCP, are you talking about the SCP Foundation stuff? And are you looking for something which is themed around the containment teams, or are you thinking more about some sort of SCP creature? Right, okay, so yeah, I think we've got... I think this one will be too big, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, too big. I don't want to draw attention from too much from the big eye, so let's go for, I think this was a 2 mil, I think. Okay. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think a 2 mil is like the central eye, and then that will... We can pop a few small ones around the outside. Right, a little bit of super glue in there of my trusty super glue application wire, patent pending. A little bit in there. Okay, perfect. Why do you use the bladed part of your knife rather than the back? Doesn't it blade? Well, I am of the opinion that you should regularly change out your blades, because first of all, it makes cutting easier, and second of all, as a result of making cutting easier, it actually makes the blade safer because you're less likely to slip because you've applied too much pressure. So I will generally pop in a new blade for every project that I begin. If it's like a big project, lots of cutting and scraping, I'll probably do maybe swap it out at the beginning and then at the end. But then if I'm doing like a few squads, I'll probably use the same blade. But yeah, I tend to use the blade just because it's quicker, basically. Okay, I think that's super glued in. No, it's still moving a little bit. Need a little bit more super glue, I think. Anvil interested in some tactical bits for fitting the SCP Foundation. Yeah, I think that's the direction that I would suggest going for. If you want to do anything like that, then you want to have some sort of you want to kind of go down that, what is it? Is it called like what, Miltech or something? I can't remember what it's, that aesthetic's called. It's like a modern military theme stuff, tactical kind of stuff. But yeah, I think Anvil Industry does have some pretty cool stuff for that. But yeah, anything like that is going to work well. The new Cadians are probably a little bit more, what's diesel punk, I guess. I think that's the kind of aesthetic they've gone for. They're kind of like a sci-fi diesel punk. They're not too far off what soldiers look like in the Fallout games, what the pre-war soldiers look like. There we go. That's another eye in there. And then we might be able to get a tiny little eye on the other side. Anytime I swap out my blade, I manage to cut myself, since I got so used to handling it roughly with a blunt blade. Yeah, so I think it's, for me, when I switched to scalpels, I kind of never made the switch back. So I can't remember who it was. It was years ago that I got recommended to use scalpels. And yeah, they're just, because the blades are really really cheap, so you can always make. There's no real excuse to not have a fresh blade in there. There we go. You can see some more eyes. There's never really much of an excuse not to have a fresh blade in there every now and again if it's getting blunt, because I've spoken about this quite a few times. Anyone who knows people who work in kitchens, chefs, anything like that, anyone who works in that kind of field, will attest to the fact that having a sharper blade actually. Should I put like a bit of a? Oh yeah, I'm going to put like a bit of a weird kind of slant to the model. I think that's going to make it a bit more aesthetically pleasing, because we want to have that almost shambling look. Let's pop it a little bit further forward as well. Yeah, using kitchens, sharper knives are better, because whilst you would expect them to be more problematic because they have a sharper blade, because they're actually sharper, you can cut through that. You can make cuts with less pressure, and the less pressure you're putting on the blade, the more control over the blade you have, less likely you are to slip and cut yourself. So yeah, there we go. I think that's quite simple, actually. I think it's quite a simple but effective look. I imagine if we have the arms in there, we can probably have time for some arms, but I don't. If you don't want to do anything else and just have a few cracks and eyeballs poking out, then I actually think you could build a pretty decent looking Wraith army using that technique, personally. Sharp blade is a safe blade, yeah, ironically. Use a tiny blob of blue tuck to pick up your tiny ball bearings and an old paintbrush. No bristles. Oh, good idea. Yeah, I actually tend to use my finger, just press it down. Your Space Lizards videos rotted my brain so badly that I just spent $100 on lizards and bits from eBay. I do apologise. Well, there's a few people who've come up to me and said, "Oh, I was never really into Warhammer. I've kind of like followed it a little bit. I followed it a little bit when I've been doing, I've been looking at various different things, and I've said I'm so sorry that you decided to pick up Warhammer as a result of watching my videos, because you will have no money now, unfortunately. No." I'm gonna have a biscuit. I'm gonna treat myself to a biscuit now that we've done that. I've got no more tea left now, so I've got very dry biscuits. How about some biscuit ASMR? Oh, if I move this, can I get it really close? People into that? People enjoy that stuff? ASMR makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't really know much about it from other people parodying it, which is probably isn't the best way to know about something and then mock it. I know, where's a cup of tea? I drank it, it's empty, it's gone. It's gone. I should have drank it earlier, but yeah. So I should have eaten the biscuits earlier. I'm building a full Loyalist Space Marine Death Guard army because of your video. I do apologise. Was that a digestive? It is a digestive, yeah. It's literally just a plain digestive. There's no tea to dunk it into. There's no chocolate digestives either. Just tuned in. Those studs on the smooth face look super cool. Love the idea of Wraithbone become corrupted and growing in strange ways. Yeah, so let's look a little bit. You see, it's kind of like a cutaway, and the idea is that those are like eyes poking through. Poor biscuit game. To be fair, you can't go wrong with custard creams for like just as a generic biscuit, because you can buy them for about like 60p for a packet. I don't know, I haven't bought any for a while. But yeah, you can buy custard creams really cheaply, and you just eat the whole pack in one go. We Paint Minis, thank you very much for joining. Have a good evening. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, mate. I based the design of my Imperial Guard infantry off one of your old streams, the one where you made some Feudal Guard. Oh, wow. That was an old stream. I have to familiarise myself with that one. Live streams, Feudal Guard. I vaguely remember doing it, but I can't remember the... Was it the... I think I did one was like prototyping kitbash ideas that I might have done it. And it was like a... Oh wow, I tried to do a Talon Desert Raider actually in that video and it just didn't work. Oh wow, so the whole video doing that, what a waste that was. Yeah, I can't remember now. Custard green's the top drawer. Will we be doing something for October? No. So, I'm actually going to be doing something different in October. I'm not actually going to be doing any videos. I'm not going to do any typical videos in October. I am instead going to be working on something else. I've got another project in the works, and October is where I'm going to be working on it and hopefully launching it. So hopefully by the end of October we'll see that. If you've seen some of my Twitch streams, I've already teased it a little bit, so we'll see. But no, I won't be doing anything for October. But yeah, so I've got a video going out this week, and I've got a video going out literally like next Saturday. So I've got like 2 videos coming out in the next 7 days, which is really bad timing by me, really bad organizational skills. But anyway, yeah, no videos in October of the conventional side. I'm hoping there will be a video, but not in the sense that we normally see. I'm sure you answered it here before, but what do you do with all the kit bashes? Do you keep them all? I do, yeah. They did. I often just end up in if they're like one of my particularly favourite ones, they go in the cabinets up here. I've got another cabinet behind, and then if they're just kind of just like I'm not as happy with them, or they're an older one, they tend to just go in storage. So yeah, I do keep them. Are corrupted Tyranids doable? I didn't mean to click on the Firefox one, actually. There you go. Now, this is something I've investigated in the past, and Tyranids are strange because they don't have a presence in the warp. They're called the Shadow of the Warp because they don't have a presence in the warp, Chaos can't corrupt them because of stuff. Now, that isn't to say that there could be ways that they could become infected. Maybe if there was some sort of physical manifestation which controlled the Tyranids as opposed to the Tyranids being controlled directly by Chaos, then that might work. Maybe if there was like some sort of Nurgle brain bug which infected the Tyranids and control the Tyranids, maybe that could work. But yeah, I think there's been a few things spoken about it and a few people have talked about it before, but yeah, I'm not sure if they can be, long story short. I think that's why Tau are quite uncorruptible, because they have a very, very low presence in the warp. They don't exist, they're not like as bright in the warp, essentially, as human souls are, which is why humans are very corruptible. I mean, they're physically possible. There's nothing stopping you from doing them, but if you want to be like lore based, then not so much. On one hand, it sounds really interesting. On the other hand, no October, said Crumpin Noses. Maybe I'll do something next year. I don't think I've ever done an October. I did a March from a Crag this year, completely unintentionally. I think it was when I did the Kabuski video. I did the Ultramar Auxilia, that was it. Almost no soul to Tau, but they've been recently denoticed by Khorne. I think there's certain ways which Tau could be affected rather than the typical ways. I think we just need to be a little bit more, what's the word? Original about how they're affected, how Chaos corrupts other races rather than just humans, because we kind of very much, because the Imperium is from the Imperials' point of view, everything is very much like how humans are affected. More like the stories seem to dwell more on how humans are corrupted by Chaos rather than other races. But there are other races that have been corrupted by Chaos. There is I forget the name, someone probably remind me, but the race in the first Eisenhorn novel, there's a race of Xenos in there which are Chaos corrupted, which is quite interesting. Best picky right now, chocolate hobnobs, but not just the standard ones, the coconut macaroon ones. Now, for me, I'm not a hobnob fan. I will have a hobnob. I will eat a hobnob, but I will not purchase a hobnob out of choice. A hobnob is for me, it's a backup biscuit. I know it's probably a really strong fighting statement to put out there to a lot of the British, because the hobnobs are very popular among the British culture, but for me, can't beat a digestive. Love a digestive. Chocolate digestives are nice. Dark chocolate digestives. And I'm going to go out even further now. This is something I spoke to Ross from Warhammer about, and he's on board with me in this. So I'm not the only one. I'm not weird. There's someone else. I like to keep dark chocolate digestives in the fridge, because the chocolate kind of goes like a bit more crispier, I guess. It kind of hardens up a little bit. It's really nice. Do you have any collaborations planned? I'd love to see your creativity in more places. Would also be super interesting. I don't actually know. I think there's a few people who have kind of contacted me to be on podcasts and stuff, but I don't actually have any. I kind of just end up being so just enveloped with my own projects. I kind of forget to speak to a lot of other people and get involved in these like projects and stuff like that. I do always mean to, and if anyone got in touch with me, I would probably try and do something, but I just end up never finding the time that our schedules match up or anything like that. But yeah, maybe in the future, maybe. The Bicky sounded great, or coconut, yeah. Chocolate digestive gang. They do white chocolate digestives now, which is quite interesting. Your upskill team has been a huge inspiration for me getting back into the hobby and doing my own chapter. I love your work. Would love to see your take on Soul Haunters someday. Yeah, they're nice there, aren't they? Soul Haunters. I mean, there's some really cool stuff out there you can base it on. But yeah, Raptor stuff. Keep your eyes peeled for the channel. Keep your eyes peeled to the channel. There might be some more Raptor stuff coming. outside of a live stream as well. So yeah. Anyway, should we try and finish this? We have 45 minutes left. I at least want to do the arms. Right, what have we got? What did we say? Axe and shield, didn't we? Let's find out which components we need for that. So we need to use one of the arms, I think, that we've just cut up earlier. Oh well. Oh well. Plenty of arms on here we can use. That's fine. What do I need? 65 to 69 will do. And then I'll grab that one as well. There you go, 68. And then we need the axe and one of the little shield things. I don't know what they're called, but yeah. Oh, there's also the front. There's like a loincloth as well. I'll come to that one. I'll come to that one later because I might do some modifications to that one as well. Do any of these work? 96, 98, 100, 102. Yeah, that'll do. There's a lot of kind of, you can see how you could easily incorporate eye iconography in these. Look at those, just like 3 along the side and then 1 in the center. That is perfect. Axe. There you go. Axe and sword. I'm going to do an axe and shield. Sorry. Have you tried the Galaxy Digestives? They do normal and orange flavoured. I haven't tried them. I'll keep an eye out. Hamish Pete, thank you so much for your continuing the Dornian Heresy kit bashes. It is one of my favourite stories, and your models are fantastic. So I see what you have planned next. Tuesday, check-in Tuesday. There is a Dornian Heresy video coming. I don't know if you've already seen it, the preview. But yeah. I don't kit bash out of creativity. I kit bash because I can't read the instructions. I will read the instructions up to a certain point, and then at that point I get bored, and I'm like, just can I glue something else on there, please? Can I just do something else? Yeah, so I think with this conversion, we've been doing it for what, 2 hours 20 minutes. I've been chatting a lot and eating biscuits as well, and we also wasted our time on the arm as well. I'm not really happy with that. I'm kind of disappointed with it's kind of as a concept, proof of concept. It's interesting, but yeah, I don't think it offers much. I don't know. Maybe I need to work on it. I'll work on the idea and we'll come back to it maybe eventually. But I think I'm quite happy with this. I think, especially if you wanted to run quite a few of these, you could really get away with just... It's not too time consuming to do these little cuts and things in the scale of building a whole model. And yeah, if you had a full army that all had these kind of cracks and crevices, and you could have a few which had a few little tentacles, maybe some blue horrors or pink horror bits poking out, anything like that. Yeah, you could have a really effective looking force without going too crazy on the conversions, or even having to rely too much on other kits. Like 1 box of blue horrors could probably give you enough components to fill out a whole army. Modern kits force me to actually read the instructions. I know that feeling. The amount of times where I have just thought, I can wing it. And then you get to a certain point, like, I don't know how this component fits to this one. I don't know how these are supposed to be lined up. And then you look at the instructions and realize you glued the components in the wrong order. And you have like a really weird mismatch of components. And the component needs to be in the middle of them. Yeah, the new stuff is... I swear that some people in Games Workshop have some of the sculptors have like made really good cutting lines so that when you glue the parts together, they're on a seam, they're on like an inner seam, so you don't see it, things like that. But honestly, some of them have just been like, I feel like they're in competition with each other to make the craziest cutting points and combining. It's like, what is it? Which is it? One of the Death Guard models where like the head is connected via a pole to the legs. So if you just have the leg and then just a pole sticking out and then a head. Yeah, there's some strange combinations. Sometimes instructions are wrong too. If you look at the Gravis Captain, it'll tell you to put the head at the end. Yeah, they are. Also, sometimes the numbers are wrong. So you look at something, you're thinking, okay, hang on, that number isn't that, and then you have to try and guess what it is based on the picture. But yeah, that's happened a few times to me. Also, the numbering system is completely strange. I don't get how that numbering system makes sense to anyone. It's such a incomprehensible numbering system on a sprue. You'll have some numbers grouped, and then some numbers will be spread across different areas. Sometimes the numbers will denote similar components, so they'll be grouped around components. So maybe like if there's 5 components, they'll be that are similar. Maybe like 5 right arms, they'll all be 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, whatever. And then other times they're just completely random. Yeah, it's interesting how that decision is made. Personally, I think if they had a numbering system which was more of maybe it started in one corner at 1 and then, so I mean, look at this: 94, 64, 105, 18, 14. Now these have been numbered, I think, to group the individual components together, but when you're looking for them on a sprue, I find it'd be easier if it was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you could kind of roughly get an idea of where you are on the sprue just by the number. That's just me, maybe. I spent 10 minutes looking for a torso. Yeah, it's bad. It's not too bad if you're looking for like a particular pouch or a component that fits inside something else and it's a weird shape or it's tiny. But when it's a torso, when it's like a solid piece, like a strong constituent part of a kit, then yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay. Right, let's glue these together, and I think I will come back. Let's see. We might be able to make a modification just at this stage. So if we glue the arm in there, that gives us an angle of. We can lean it back slightly, and the axe is going to force us to hold the hand like that. So I might trim down the hand a little bit so we can kind of have more of a slack grip, I guess, like a. Do we trim that a little bit? Let's glue the arm in place first before we make this trim too much. Glue over my fingers. Okay. Okay. So if we leave that for a second, let the glue on the arm dry before I do anything else. And then we can glue this other arm in place as well. Question, Pete. Regarding your Space Lizard conversion video, if you could make more of those models into a kill team, which would you, which you should, by the way, which kill team would you use them as? And would you consider making more Space Lizards? It's a tough one because they're quite bulky, aren't they? So you want something which represents it and is similarly hefty, basically. It's a good question. Let's see what kill teams there are available and then work backwards. That'll do. Right, so let's eliminate these one by one. I don't think Dark Eldar would work. Possibly Kassakin. I have that kind of tactical vibe. Probably not Necrons, not Space Marines. No. Space Marines, no again. Possibly Tau. I don't know about Orcs. I think Tau definitely. Skitarii, yeah, I think Skitarii, Tau, Kassakin. Some of these are just generic. Ugh. Yeah. I think those are probably the best ones. Because you want something which is kind of small enough, like infantry based. Maybe the naval breaches. Oh, these guys might work. I think those would work, actually. Yeah. I actually just realised I'm not actually on there. There we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I think Votan would be good for it, personally. They're kind of armoured enough to have like an acceptable amount of armour to match up the carnivore. And obviously this guy with the brawling guy with the plasma knuckles or whatever he's got. That'd be pretty cool to incorporate. Heavy weapons guy. Yeah, lots of options. Oh, excuse me. If you made the Votan, how would you do the jump pack? I would either give one of them a jump pack. I know it sounds like I would just give them a jump pack. I would either give them a jump pack, or I would maybe have, because the idea of mine was that they were like a genetically modified group. They weren't necessarily just lizards. They were genetically modified, so you could have one actually with wings. You could find some wings from somewhere. I wouldn't use the Votan jetpack there. I'd probably use one of these, I think. I think it just looks a bit more techy. I don't know. But yeah. Making space lizards and Imperial breaches, yeah, that'd work. That's nice. Good idea. I think the more humanoid factions work best. So I think any of the human factions and Votan are sort of like they're abhumans, aren't they? So no. Look up the Vampire Blood Bowl team, kind of funny. One second. One second. No, my mistake. Space Lizard is one of my favourite conversions of yours, Pete. It'd be cool if you expanded on them. Yeah, maybe I will do. It'd be cool to do like a kill team, and it was good to do those guys as like a standalone model, just to experiment really with doing some sort of space. It was quite good. I enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. Right, so what I've done is I've adjusted the axe, sorry, the wrist, so it kind of almost sits a little bit more relaxed, I guess. It's a very, very tiny little grip. And because of the way I've kind of positioned the torso, I've given it more of like a slumping look, as if it's not quite at full. Oh, for God's sake! Make sure I switch the cameras. Give your Space Marine kill team something to fight. To be fair, the only thing they could fight is themselves because of the way that the rules have changed for Games Workshop. My God. Oops. Okay. These are really fiddly to glue, considering they're kind of like, they're quite big, but I think because the joints are so small and the components are quite long, it makes it a bit trickier. So yeah, there you go. That's the kind of aspect I've got. It's more like I've kind of tilted the torso forward a little bit and down to one side and lifted the arm up, and then this is a little bit lower than maybe it would normally be held, and then I've cut the wrist so it's kind of held down a little bit. Yeah, and I think that hopefully gives it a bit more of a infested vibe. What I could do actually is if I let this dry fully overnight, I could probably go in with some pock marks. So a little bit like how I've done with my Nurgle conversions and stuff in the past, where I've drilled in like surface damage, and it kind of would work really well with this kind of Wraithbone material, I think. But yeah. Right, let's leave that to one side. Let's see if I don't think I've got any. I should have grabbed my Zeech bits box as well. I don't really expect to do a Zeech conversion in the end, but you never know. You never know. Let's look at some Zeech stuff. Let's see what we could use. Chaos Zeech. So yeah, blue horrors are pretty small. They're kind of, they have a lot of tentacles as well. Those would be easy to use. Some of that, the hands and things like that, you could have poking out. Those would work quite nicely. Pink horrors aren't as good as blue horrors. Blue horrors are much nicer kit. Flamers maybe are quite big. I think it would maybe harder to incorporate those. I don't know. Yeah, there's, to be honest, there's not many units for Zeech that actually have tentacles that you can just dip into and use freely. It's not many. There's the Vortex Beast, isn't there? This would be pretty cool if you had maybe one of the larger units and you wanted to do some sort of I don't know. Yeah, look at those. Those are cool. Some sort of Wraith Lord. Which one is it? I always forget which one it is. Let's check it. It's let's get it established. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I can never remember which one is. I know these are the Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades. I can't remember which ones the bigger ones are. It's Wraith Lord, and then the big one is the Wraith Knight. Yeah. Okay. Some cats fighting in the garden. I don't think you can hear it, luckily. But yeah, I think if you grab this, if you just had one of these in your army, you could go to town. You could have so many of the like cracks in the legs, in the torso, in the helmet. You could have literally just this whole faceplate missing and just a mass of tentacles emanating from it. Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool conversion. I think you're right. The Spawn kit does have some. That's an old kit now. That's going back a bit. Spawn. Yeah. How old that kit is now. It's yeah, God, it's going back now. That is. You can tell it's an old kit because it's like they have these like the groups, the way that things have been grouped together on the sprue. I ran out and bought the AdMech and Saurus Warriors the same day I watched the video. Thank you. I do apologize for making people spend money, but I'm just going to show you some cool stuff, and if you enjoy it and you want to make the cool stuff as well, then that's 2007. Wow, I actually thought they were older than that. So there's only 5 years between this kit and the Wraith Guard, which is interesting because this seems like an older kit. I don't know if it's just maybe how they painted them back then. Like, this doesn't look as well painted as the newer stuff that you would see. Like, if this model was released today, it'd be painted better, for want of a rest for it. It's not badly painted, but do you know what I mean? That's a cool one. I like that one. Yeah, this one's just basically a solid flesh color with washes, pretty much, and then the bones painted out. It's like 2 or 3 paint lines ago. Yeah. It's about like 5 editions of 40k ago as well. But yeah, this is cool. Look at that one, the little tentacle with the eye on it. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be a good fun project. I reckon that. Does it say the year on this kit as well? Can you see it on here? I think this is probably a similar time, wasn't it? Can't see it on there. Normally it says, oh, there we go. I think it's there. Enhance. Games Workshop 2012. Yeah. 2012 or 2017? I don't think it's that recent. I think it's older than that. What would be good kits to make a cheaper but still good looking skeleton army? Yes, as Yurt Enthusiast 7 has suggested, Wargames Atlantic has some good plastic skeletons. They're cheap as well. They're very, very... oh, God, I can't type. Oh, I'm just going to point something out as well whilst I'm on stream. Look at the models on the box. I painted them. Those are my models. Firefox. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I painted those. Those are the for the box, and then the artists who kind of I'd seen on Instagram and stuff like that. They asked me if I knew anyone who would do them, but yeah, you can see them there. And then I don't know if they're actually. Yeah, on the box. If you ever buy a box of those, it says on them. Pete Harrison, painted by Pete Harrison. It's pretty cool, I thought. Right, what I was looking for. Oh, okay, if you go on War Games Atlantic, they might be on there. What were they on? Sci-Fi, Reptilian Overlords. There you go, look. Figure painting, Pete Harrison. I'm famous. Yeah, they were nice. They were. So this is actually, this background, I'll tell you, this is quite interesting. So, I needed a background to, I don't think I've got them in here anymore. I did have them in my, no, I don't have them anymore. They're in the garage. So I had to create a background for them. And I took a piece of foam and I painted it green and I stuck a load of static grass and lichen and stuff. And I had these like plastic palm trees. So I popped those in, and then all these palm trees at the back, you can kind of see them a bit more like these, just the same. These are just a picture of palm trees that I had, and I just overlaid them and put them at the back, and then put some like clouds and stuff in the back to make up the background. And then I had to do like clone stamping out of the bases, because these actually, original picture had bases on them. Do I have the original picture still? I don't know if I've got the. Probably do, but I don't know. I just don't know where it is. Yeah, I'm getting sidetracked talking about these, but yeah, basically, the skeletons from these guys are very good. The War Game. I don't know where they would end up now. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you can see. Let me show you some of the pictures, the original ones. How easy is it going to be to get these in the stream? Quickly, I will just quickly show you the end. This is kind of wrapping up the end of the stream now. But yeah, that's basically what we've worked on. Probably a little bit more we can do with that one, but yeah, we settled on a few different changes from the original idea that I had. But yeah, but essentially a dead Wraith God that's been kind of taken over by some sort of Tzeentch chaotic aspect. Essentially like puppet zombie Wraith God. But yeah, that's what we did. Pretty simple. Broke down the inside of this, cut away some sections of the plastic and just glued some ball bearings in there. Yeah, probably a lot to do with the painting on this one. Probably going to go over the armor again, just damage it up a little bit, make it look a little bit more pot marked, things like that. But yeah, pretty much done. Nice and simple, nice and straightforward. Anyway, let's see. Let's have a look at, where's the image slideshow? Delete all those and then add. Yeah, okay, so you can see, so this is the original picture that I had, and I basically had to paint all of those out, and this is like the pictures I took of the trees and then just like superimposed everything afterwards. But yeah, it was really hard just to blend all these bases out. I painted them green to like blend in a little bit more, but then it was requested that I take them out again. It was really, really tricky, but yeah, I managed to get them in the end. Anyway, what we were looking at, classic fantasy. Skeletons. Look, 25 quid, which is, I don't know how much is in dollars. I don't know where. Oh, there's lots of US dollars. It's at the top. Yeah, perfect. $34.95, and you get 32 in there, which I think is really good. It's like just over $1 per skeleton. They're not bad skeletons either. They're not like. That's a good picture. Like if you just want a lot of skeletons really cheaply, really kind of basic as well. They're not overly detailed. They're not overly stylized to one particular era. They're pretty. They come with bows as well. Pretty good. Yeah, spiders with guns. Yeah, so they're basically like the original spiders were really cool. I really enjoyed using the spiders in my Nurgle conversions, and then they was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna put some extra components in there. We're gonna give them guns as well, because why not? Why not give them guns? And then there are components in there, I think. Yeah, there's like those are cool, like little wrapped up bodies and stuff like that. I haven't actually played around with these. These are pretty fun. And they've got like a futuristic version of those as well. They're pretty cool. These have got like a space lizard options. So you've got like a lizard with an AK-47. Because why not? Why not? You can have lizards with like spears, but you can have a lizard with a gas mask and an AK-47. Why wouldn't you want that? Who wouldn't want that? Why give them guns to defend their homes, of course. Yeah, so they kind of have like their historical stuff's really nice, to be honest. I think World War One kits are really nice. I use these in a kit as well. I need to try out some of these World War One British infantry. Pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap things up there. I think that's going to be it for the stream. I've done as much as I can on that model, I think, without just sticking more bits to it, sticking it to a base. So thank you very much to everyone who has joined me for the stream. I am going to make these a little bit more. The dog tax. You reminded me of the dog tax. Okay, bear with me. Let me go get the dog. I don't know which one will come up. We'll see. Bear with me. Pause screen. There you go. Thank you very much for reminding me about the dog tax. But yeah, there we go. There's Juno. She's been asleep. Just got a jumper on. Personalised jumper. Okay. I'm tired. I'll wake you up. Hey, blame everyone on the stream. Blame them. Fast asleep. Got woken up, put underneath the bright lights. Hey. Good girl. Right. Well, anyway, there you go. Dog tax has been paid. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone who's joined the stream. Thank you very much to everyone who subscribes, supports me on Patreon, channel members, anyone who's super chatted. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you very much. And yeah, we will be doing another stream hopefully next week. I'm not sure about Sunday. It might be on a different day than Sunday, but yeah, thank you very much. You gonna say bye? Yeah, cool. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and this will be available as a video on demand pretty much immediately anyway. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I'm hopefully going to stop streaming this and end the stream at like the right point, because I always mess it up and then I'm cutting myself off mid-sentence. So let me find where to end the stream. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. I shall see you all next week, and there's a video in a couple of days. So see you all then. Thanks, guys. Hopefully I don't cut myself off. Am I done? There we go. Cool. Bye.